Hey everyone! In this video, I want to talk a little bit about dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis is a way for us to stay organized as we try to convert a unit of measure into another unit. So what dimensional analysis uses is something called unit fractions. So just to begin with, I want to explain what those are. So a unit fraction is a fraction that is technically equal to 1, but the numerator and the denominator are different units of measure. So for example, something like 1 foot divided by 12 inches. Feet and inches are different units of measure. The numerator and the denominator are different numbers, but 1 foot and 12 inches are technically the same length. So technically this fraction is equal to 1. Or I could flip that and I could do 12 inches over 1 foot. Same idea. Some other examples, we could do 1 yard is the same as 3 feet. So again, different units of measure on top and bottom, but technically this fraction is equivalent to 1. Or we could flip that to 3 feet over 1 yard. So any fraction where the units of measure in the numerator and the denominator are different, but they're still expressing the same amount of time, the same length, the same weight, whatever it happens to be, those are unit fractions. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the unit fractions as we try to convert to help us stay organized. And what this does is it gives us a good idea on whether we're going to multiply by a certain number or whether we're going to divide by it. So let's just take a look at an example to talk through that process. So the first one I have here, I want to convert 40 inches to feet. So the first thing, I'm going to rewrite 40 inches. So 40 inches, and technically this is over 1. Okay. Now I know from the unit fraction that we just looked at before, I know that 12 inches is the same as 1 foot. Or if I flip that, I know 1 foot is the same as 12 inches. So those are the unit fractions. One of those I'm going to use to help me convert 40 inches into feet. So we're going to multiply by one of those two unit fractions. So I need to decide which one I'm going to use. And that's where the units of measure come in. I'm going to think about the units basically like they're variables. So I'm starting with inches. I want inches to cancel out so that I end up with feet. So that means if I have inches in the numerator, in my unit fraction, I need inches in the denominator. So that means I'm going to use the second one. So I'm going to multiply by 1 foot over 12 inches. So now taking a look at this expression, I have inches in the numerator, inches in the denominator. Those units of measure cancel out. And all I'm left with is feet, which is what I want my final answer to be in. So I have 40 times 1 over 12, but this also shows me that to do this conversion, I just need to divide by 12. So let's see what we get. So 40 divided by 12. So 40 divided by 12, we end up with 3.3 repeating, which if I convert this into a fraction, so we'll convert to a fraction, we get 10 over 3, or 3 1/3. So this is equal to 3 1/3 feet. I could go further. I could rewrite this in terms of feet and inches. I could say this is 3 whole feet, and 1/3 of a foot is 4 inches. So either way there, but I said convert to feet, so I'm going to say that this is our final answer. Now, the second example, we're going to expand on that process. So we can multiply by more than one unit fraction. So I want to take 10 days. I want to convert this into seconds. So we're going to start with 10 days. And again, technically this is over 1. So now we're going to multiply this by unit fractions until we get to just seconds. So we need to go step by step here. So first, let's take days and convert that into hours. So there are 24 hours in 1 day. I already have days in the numerator, so I want days to be in the denominator. So 24 hours over 1 day. After doing this multiplication, we'd be in hours. So now let's change hours into minutes. So there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Again, we want the hour to be in the denominator, so it cancels out. And now we can go from minutes to seconds. So there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. And again, just taking a look at our labels here to make sure this calculation is going to be correct. We have days in the numerator, days in the denominator that will cancel out. We have hours in hours, minutes in minutes, and the only thing we'll be left with is seconds. So we have 10 times 24 times 60 times 60. So I'm going to use my calculator to help me out with this. So 10 times 24 times 60 times 60, and we get 864,000 seconds. So our final answer, 864,000 seconds in 10 days. But again, that's how we use dimensional analysis to help us out with these conversions. We're multiplying by what we call unit fractions, and it's a way to help us stay organized, and it helps us determine whether we're going to multiply by a number or if we're going to divide by that number.